Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of my top three. Today, we're going to talk about my top three in the full moon in Scorpio. Now, depending on which chart you're looking at, it's going to tell you the full moon is on Monday, which would be a Libra full moon, but it's really a Scorpio full moon, which is the 27th. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Just wanted to point that out in case you're following your own transits and looking at charts going, this doesn't make any sense. That would be why. Look at the 27th, not the 26th. So just opening statement and disclaimer. There has been so much change, so much transition for so many people. I've gotten so many messages on my social media inboxes asking me about readings or charts or things of that nature. I am currently 36 weeks pregnant and I will be having a baby very, very, very soon. So if you would like to have your chart read, now is the time to get it in. Otherwise, you're probably going to be waiting a few weeks for me to be able to get through all of the requests for charts and individual sessions, as well as the 4-week coaching sessions. So just a little bit of heads up, you can find the details on how to book that below, but we're getting to go time, so you might want to get on that. All right, so without further ado, let's dive into this very spicy Scorpio full moon. Okay, so the number one thing for this theme right now is challenge, obstruction, and unrest. There are so many squares and oppositions happening right now. It is insane. All of them most of them primarily having to do with the planet of Saturn, which governs things like discipline, ritual, tradition. So there is a lot of generally tense energy on the planet right now, as you could probably tell, especially if you're in the US, you're probably watching the mainstream media, probably feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And I want to just say that is because, yes, we're in a time of challenge and opposition, but it's also being amplified. It's being amplified on purpose to make us personally feel a lot of unrest and opposition within ourselves. So be very, very mindful of how much of that you are consuming, because it is being amplified. It is being used very specifically to create more of that feeling of unrest among people. But nonetheless, this is a very challenging time for communication, relationships, identity. And so personally in your own life, you might be finding that you are having these strained conversations with people in your family and your closest circles, asking yourself who you are, going through a sort of like identity crisis and wondering if the life that you have is even the life that you want. Tons of that might be occurring. So just know that this is a very challenging time, and the more that you can step away, step back, and reflect, the better it's going to be. The number two thing to talk about is this deep spiritual access that we have right now. Even though there's a ton of oppositions and a ton of squares, there is this really beautiful aspect with Neptune. And to me, when I saw that, I said, okay, here's an opportunity for us to really dive in to whatever your spiritual background is, whatever your support system is for your faith, and to really connect there first and foremost, and to make that the place from which you connect with the outside world. So I see this as being a very rich portal for magnifying that and amplifying that in our individual lives. And the number third thing I'm going to talk about is death and rebirth, literally and also figuratively. There have been so many passings, and there also are so many new children coming into the world right freaking now. I know so many pregnant people, it's insane, myself included. This is probably the most I've seen in one time. in my life. So I think there is this turning of soul energy on the planet that's very, very noticeable. But also, you know, the fact that it is a Scorpio full moon, and Scorpio is governed by Pluto. Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation. And that is not a coincidence. This is a big transformation that we're undergoing personally, if this happens to be part of your life right now, but also collectively. And it doesn't always feel super great. Transformations don't feel fantastic. Transformations don't feel super fun. They're great to talk about in hindsight after you've survived them and you're like, I have all this wisdom. But in the moment, it feels like you're dying a lot. That's a pretty normal part of transforming. So if this is happening to you, it's okay. You're going to survive it. You're going to live. And on the other end of that, there will be so much wisdom and so much appreciation for your personal journey. So those are my top 3 for this full moon. I hope that you guys are traversing it with calm and with support. As always, if you want to get my full in-depth transit report, which will be put into our Patreon community called the Sovereign Society, you can visit that link below and join us at the Metaphysical Teachings tier and above to get access to that. And if just a reminder, if you'd like to get your personal charts done for human design, that you drop me a line as soon as possible, because the window is closing for when I'll be able to do those as much as I'm doing them now. And I'd like to be able to get everyone in who is feeling like they really need that support and direction right now. All right, my friends, be well. And as always, take care of yourselves and take care of each other until we meet again.